Hi guys, it's Tim here, and behind me is our Barnfind GTI. So it's been a little while, but we decided to put some serious work into this car. So on the previous video, you may have seen that we took the engine out of this live, and this is kind of what we're left with. Now, we took this engine out live. The live stream was about 2.5 hours, but we've got this down to just a couple of minutes. But first of all, I'd like to say a massive thank you to everyone who was watching it live. There was 1 or 2 points here, whereas guys, if you weren't watching and giving me encouragement, to be honest, I think I probably would have just given up, gone home and got drunk. So guys, look, thank you so much to everyone who watched it, and your encouragement really helped me stay focused and get that engine out on the day. Now, it looks like it's all going swimmingly, but that suspension took ages to get out. The bolts were different sizes, they were seized up, they're an absolute pain. So the frontal came apart pretty easily. Couple of bolts underneath to get the bumper out, front panel off, and yeah, I mean, it's quite simple. Now, I wanted to get the engine out through the front of the car, so it meant taking the front panel off, the front cross member. So it's just a case of unbolting all these bits. It's a bunch of 10 mils, and with an electric impact gun, it's an absolute piece of cake. So pulling the front end off, no problem at all. And then it meant that we had easy access to all of the plugs and connectors, and we just had to get the electrics unplugged and disconnected so that the engine would come out nice and easily. Now you can see me diving down the back to undo the rear engine mounts, and this is where it all went wrong. One of those bolts sheared off, so it looks like we're just getting the crane out, unbolting it, and away we go. But do you know what? That was the bit that took the time. That was the bit that I really struggled with, and you guys got me through. So yeah, that seized bolt was an absolute pain and probably took an extra 45 minutes to get this engine out. But I'm pleased to say, with a bit of perseverance and not many swear words, we managed to get the engine out. So why is this car sitting here with no engine in it? What happened? Why did we have to take it out? Well, it all started probably about 6 months ago. So was going to get the next video up and ready, make some progress on the car. We took the carpets out and found this. So that was the hole we were looking at originally. I've cleaned the sound deadening off. And whoa, look at that. And next to it, we've got this. Oh my God. Look at the state of that, guys. So this has become a very big job to repair this bulkhead. So looking at this, we can see here, this is what I thought we were going to have to weld. It's clearly been done before, and there's a hole there, and that is not looking great at all. But also, we've got this patch here under the brake pedal as well that's been welded before. Not particularly well, there's still giant holes in it. To be honest, I can't weld, and I could have probably done a better job than that. So I think we're going to have to cut the lot out and patch both places along with the bulkhead. So looking at the amount of welding that we have to do to the floor, and behind the dash, you can see why that engine needed to come out. So with the engine out, we can take a look at the subframe. So just looking at the subframe here, it is just disgusting. Look at the state of it. I mean, it's rusty, it's dirty. Obviously, a lot of these bolts were seized. There's split boots. There's all sorts. Now, when we were doing the engine removal, I thought about dropping the subframe out, but this bolt had seized. So big problem was the engine was in the way, and I couldn't really get access with this bar to get much of a turn on it. But now the engine's out, it's had a week pretty much to sit there and let the oil soak in. This is coming out quite easily. So good news is, with this off, it should just be a couple of bolts and we can drop the subframe out. And so we just needed to disconnect the selector tower from the subframe, because we'll leave that behind when we take the subframe out. So we're just going to take these subframe bolts out, and hopefully this whole lot should come down. So We've got a couple. I'm going to need an extension bar to take this front one out because it's going to have to go through the lower arm there. And we've got the ones on the back here. So I'm just going to buzz these off. So that's the two 19mm sockets out this side. We've chocked out with a block of wood and a jack in the middle so it doesn't come crashing down on me. So now I'm going to go off and do the other side. So now we should be able to drop the jack and hopefully it's going to fall down. Obviously we tap the steering joint. So hopefully that should have separated. Right. Going to need to give it a little persuasion. And there we go. Graceful. Here we go. Now let's get this outside and jet wash it. So we just need to take these steering arms off. I'm just going to take the engine mounts and the steering rack off so it's completely stripped down. Right, so guys, we're outside with the subframe and we're going to give it a quick wash off before we see what we need to do to get this thing looking like new again. I mean, it's pretty solid. It's just a bit crusty. So obviously we've got some polybushed bushes in here as well. We'll hit this with the jet wash and see what it comes up like. So guys, I'm just back in the workshop. Going to go and get the other bits. Got to be a bit quiet because we've got Ed's filming again today, so he's cooking more barbecue.
So
let's have a look.
So yeah, you can see where I've got that little brick barrier. That's going to keep the a lot of that heat away from them. Just put the lid back on.
Right, so I'm just going to flip this over and then I'm going to pop the bolts out to get this off. But actually, before I start, let's do these ones first. Ooh, that was loose. So these are 19mm sockets for the front and for the anti-roll bar. And now with those undone at the back, these should just come out. Got one either side. And that's it with a little bit of persuasion. That anti-roll bar will come out. So now it's all stripped down. Got the angle grinder here with a strip and clean abrasive pad on it. So I'm going to throw some goggles on. I've got my gloves on and I'm going to hit up this rusty subframe and lower arms and clean them up, ready for a bit of fresh paint. So we've got the lower arms and the subframe prepared. We're going to use some of this, some buzz weld. So this should hopefully give us a nice finish, but it's also a rust inhibitor. You apply it direct to rust as well. So the idea with this stuff is you scrape off any loose rust and then just spray it straight over. So it stops it rusting, also gives it a protective finish. So hopefully it will look pretty good. It was about £18 a can. Seems quite excessive, but if it does what it says on the tin, I'll be happy with that. So just before I throw some paint on the subframe, it's time to get some lunch. And I've got to say, it's looking good. So we've got these breaded chicken thighs marinated in Frank's hot sauce, breadcrumbed, cooked on the barbecue, and then put into brioche buns. We've got this double stacked here with an extra serving of Frank's hot sauce on top and some homemade blue cheese sauce, all made by Ed from Bunch of Swines here in the barn. Now that's the loose stuff off, so let's spray this on. So we've got the first coat on. I'm probably going to put a second coat on. It's about 15-20 minutes per coat, and then I'll probably leave it overnight so it fully dries before I start fitting bits back up to it. So guys, that's it for another week up in the barn. So I think you'll agree we've made quite a bit of progress, but there is still so much work to do. So we need to get another coat on the subframe and the lower arms. Need to do the anti-roll bar as well, and then we need to get it fitted back up with a new steering rack and new engine mounts. So still plenty to do, but we're one step closer than we were at the start of the day. I think, yeah, I'm starting to feel good about it. We're starting to see bits coming back together. We've still got to tackle the welding, so that's the next big job that we've got to do. So if you remember, the reason we took the engine out was because when we did the heat matrix, we saw there was a small little bit of rust that turned into a giant bit of rust. So guys, thanks for watching. Remember to like this video and subscribe to the channel to be notified next time we upload the next part of this Barnfind GTI. Thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.